Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday morning Mortgage Coach coaching call. It's kind of an interesting call in the fact that we are on the break between Christmas and the New Year. So I thought it would be great to focus on life planning. Again, here at Mortgage Coach, we are absolutely dedicated to your personal and your professional success. Those two things are so closely aligned. You can't have one without the other. From a core values perspective, just a reminder to all you Mortgage Coach members, we are just dedicated to helping you wow your customers, helping you wow everybody around you, doing that through education, and everything we do, we just work really hard to do it at a level of excellence. I've got Daniel Harkavy as my guest today. Daniel, welcome to the call.
Dave, it is great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for taking a break. I know you're doing some family time right now. You're out at the beach on some personal time, and I really appreciate on behalf of everybody at Mortgage Coach that you're taking a break to come in here and deliver value to the Mortgage Coach family.
It's my pleasure. It's a great topic. So that was honestly, my phone just connected.
No, you're here. We can hear you. Okay, by the way, Daniel, somehow we can hear you. Maybe it's now your computer.
It's my cell phone. I'm going to make it stop here.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to cover a few things, and we can hear you. Just FYI on that. So everybody, it is final. These are the 12 top coaching call leaders of last year. We've got the number one realtor in America, Ken DeLeon, was the most watched video, over 2,700 times. Maybe it was 2,400 times, followed by Tom Ferry. Josh Metal is trending. He's over 700 watches, and that was a call from just a couple weeks ago. It was December 2nd. And we only had one woman leader, Nikki Groff from Wallach and Volk. My goal is to have, half of the best coaching calls and the most watched coaching calls be female leaders next year. So I'll do a little shout out for that in a minute. Daniel, are you still on the call by any chance?
Yeah, I'm here.
And by the way,
I was saying the topic that you asked me to join you on today is why I said, I'm going to unplug from a little vacation and hopefully add some value on a topic that for everybody as we're heading into 2015 could be a difference maker. So,
right on. Well, I look forward to it.
Great clients of ours. I like it. Keep going.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know. Are you just called in, or can you see the screen at this point?
I turned my cell phone off, so I'm calling from a landline, no screen.
Okay, got it. All right. So I won't ask you who on the screen is a client of yours, but I know Josh is a client.
Yeah, Nick's a client. Josh is a client.
Good. Well, maybe we'll showcase Josh as we do the call. So do want to remind everybody we created a playlist. So the best of 2014, those 12 leaders and those 12 calls are easy for you to access and review. Want to remind everybody, I really want to work hard to have more women in leadership at Mortgage Coach. So last year it was Nikki was most watched female, Louise Thaxton, Cindy Ertman, and Felicia Judd. Felicia is an amazing young woman. She's the number one purchase loan officer in the state of Iowa, closing over 40 loans a month. So look forward to it. If anybody's on this call, you are a woman and you want to have more of a leadership role in the Mortgage Coach community, please send me an email, Dave@Mortgage Coach, or if you know someone that I should interview, let me know. I want to have more women leadership in Mortgage Coach in 2015. It's a goal I have as one of the leaders at Mortgage Coach. So Daniel, we're going to kick off the call with focusing on some reminders from Michael last week. You won't be able to see what's on the screen, but I just want to make sure that folks have taken action on what we went through last week. So, Daniel, in case you didn't know, we did share your sales planning document with everybody. So we talked about how to utilize the tool and to utilize the tool. I had a number of Mortgage Coach members that forwarded me the form filled out. Tim Lamb was one. Do you know Tim?
Yeah, I do. Tim's a great guy, great client.
Good. So I have had Tim Lamb as a guest. We actually created a video a couple months ago around how to create a great Mortgage Coach email, an email that would really set up a Mortgage Coach experience for the borrower in a really intentional way, and it would loop in the realtor to add value there. So for those of you that know Tim, it's probably from that. I just want to remind everybody, this is a document that whether you send it to me, work on it. part of life planning is just the concept of being intentional, taking the time to get clear on your thoughts, put a pen to paper, or if you prefer to type it out, but document your life plan and document your sales plan in an intentional way. So last week it was a focus on outcomes. What are the outcomes that you want to have in 2015? And Daniel, you guys have like 1, 2, 3, 4 fields for outcomes. Is that intentional, or are you trying to limit the amount of outcomes that people put in the plan, or is it just as many as you want?
Yeah, trying to limit them. I think what happens is the more clear we are on our goals and those outcomes, the higher the probability of them having real pull power. So if you've got too many of them, it's like trying to chase too many rabbits. So 1, 2, 3. Is a great number, just a few of them in a quarter, and we like to see you focusing in quarter by quarter to put a whole year together, as I'm sure Michael shared with you guys last week.
Yeah, he did. We got quarter 1, 2015, and you can see some of Tim's goals. I blanked out a few of them just because I thought they were personal. And then you have a circle with 6 disciplines. Michael filled out 4 of them, 4 disciplines. Out of the 6, is there some intentionality around 6, and what was the thought around the circle? Is there a reason for that, or does it just look cool?
Yeah, so the circle, that diagram, I've got to give Todd Duncan credit for kind of that circle and the spider legs, because that's how he outlines his talks, and or he used to probably 18 years ago. And when I was launching the company, I was looking at one of his talks. We were together, and that little model really kind of helped me with regards to thinking. So how I use it and how many of our clients use it is as a focal point for disciplines. The circle, I put a word in, like a focal word, that's going to have some pull power for me for the year, for the quarter. It could be on time. It could be discipline before emotion. It could be something that could be meaningful to you. You put that in the circle. It can be word or a few words, a little sentence, and then those disciplines need to be so specific that you can just lift them right from the different lines there and put them right into your calendar.
I like that. I don't think we got to what went in the circle yesterday, but everybody, something I've been doing now, I think this is my 4th year, in addition to life planning, is I've been coming up with 3 words that I just, they represent the year for me. And, first one is personal, and for me it's walk, which represented just getting out, doing more walking meetings, move more, is personal. My second one is for others, and that was presence. Just be present and work hard to fight for presence throughout every day. And the third one for business, for me, it's just quality. With Mortgage Coach, we've got a great sales process, and at Mortgage Coach, we just need to make sure every product, every touch point that we drive is just the highest level of quality. So again, those are my 3 words that I'm going to put in the circle there. A thought, what are your 3 words that are just going to be something that are themes to the year for you?
Great.
Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
I was just going to say, those are great, Dave. I love all those. Walk, presence, and quality. Those are awesome.
Yeah. So anyways, what are your 3 words, everybody? Let's get that centerpiece filled out. And then closing it out, improvements. So what are you gonna improve? Anything you want to add to that, Daniel? Just thoughts around improvements, part of this document.
Yeah, I think sometimes it gets a little confusing for people, and they don't know exactly what to put there. But so just replace it with projects. And I'm gonna reword that document so that the top, those outcomes, will be outcomes and goals, and the bottom, improvements and projects.
So it says project, by the way. It does say project list. The theme is improvements, and then it says project list, and it has a target date.
Yeah, we redid it for the experience a while ago, and I didn't know if the revised tool made it to you, but that just really helps. The project is this one-time thing. You're gonna learn the system. You're going to create the marketing plan. You're going to train the assistant. It's going to be that one-time project that you're going to need to devote some additional hours to between now and a specific date, so that your business runs with more intentionality, with a higher level of quality, with more success. And we like to separate projects because whenever you have projects down, you need to have the on time or the execution time in your schedule if you're going to get the project done. And that's where most people fall down is they have a goal of getting, a marketing plan done or an assistant trained or something implemented by a specific date, but they don't go to that next step, which is to assess how many hours are really going to be required of you in order to get it done, and then schedule those appointments between now and, if your goal is to have it all done by February 20th, then you need to schedule the appropriate amount of time, and usually you need to schedule a little bit more time than you think. But you put those in as if they were appointments, important appointments, and that will help you to improve how you execute. And a lot of our clients, just by hitting those couple of steps, have really improved in execution.
Beautiful. Well, let's get into some life planning. Last week I told everybody how to get to that life planning document, and hopefully you have downloaded it. If not, I'll give everybody a reminder later in the call, although a hint is go to the Building Champions website, and there's a tools feature. If you haven't put in your name and information yet to get access to those tools, you can do it. But I'll walk everybody through that again. For right now, let's just focus on being present in the moment. Stop multitasking, put down the mobile phone, turn it upside down or turn it off, and let's just spend 30 minutes, 35 minutes with Daniel and really get intentional around life planning. So Daniel, you mentioned earlier when we were prepping for the call that there's folks that fit into different buckets, and I want to just start with why life planning. From your perspective, why should people even be thinking about and talking about life planning?
All right. It's a great, I think, opening question. And what I want everyone with us to hear is that this is a business strategy. All right? What we're talking about today, it's not just soft life stuff. This is an absolute business strategy because if you get this life planning piece right, you can improve your leadership and your influence. And more important, you will improve your life. But this is what you might want to write down. How I lead myself, or maybe said another way, how I live impacts my level of influence. It impacts how I lead, and it impacts how I influence others. And I just want you to think about that. How you live, how you lead yourself, it has a direct impact on how you lead others and how you connect with others. And if we had the ability to sit in a room and talk about this, I would really build this case out. But let me just say this. When you've been around people that just lead their lives really well, they're people that are taking care of their health, they're people that have rock-solid marriages, these are people that have allocated non-negotiable time with their kids, these are people that seem to walk through life at a pace where they are present. They're incredibly intentional with how they work. They're methodical. They're just dialed with their high payoff activities. They're not wasting a lot of time. These people have put a lot of energy and focus into how they're leading themselves. And when you're around them, you want more of them. You want to spend more time with them. You want to learn from them. And what you do is you give them more access into your life. So whether these are your referral partners, your borrowers, your loan officers, your branch managers, depending upon who's on the call, the better you lead yourself, the better your leadership influence will be. So you need to understand that. This is not just something that is going to help you, although it's incredibly important, and for me I think it's more important. This is going to help you in all the areas of your life, your marriage, your health, your spiritual, your parenting, your finances, your sanity, your fun. It's going to have direct business impact over the long haul, and that's key. So for me, I look at it, and life's going by really fast, Dave. I had a kind of a milestone birthday this year, hit 50, and it kind of just blows my mind how quickly the last few decades have gone. But I want to live a no-regrets life, and I want to know that day in and day out I'm doing what I can to fill my days with the right activities, the right conversations, the right disciplines, being in front of the right people. And life planning is all about being crystal clear on how you want to make the greatest investment of time and energy and resource into the lives of those around you. And you make the decision, you give it thought, you cast yourself a long-term vision, and then you just manage that decision, or all of those decisions. You manage those day in and day out. And what I've seen for the last more than 3 decades, almost, 3 decades now, is I've seen people that are living life plans. They're just living better quality lives, and it's quite compelling. So,
love it. So the why is you will be more successful. And I can't remember what article I read recently, but it connected with me because I am such a sales and business animal. I mean, the way I think, that the more, when you look at the things that require balance, whether it's, personally working out, whether it's presence with family, the more you can put those in the perspective that it will make you more successful in business. Again, not everybody is like me, where they're so motivated by success in that part of their life. But think about it. It is about not just being balanced and being present. It's about being successful as a mortgage professional. So,
absolutely.
So I think you started to answer this, but I don't know if you want to net it out differently. But what is life planning from a Daniel Harkavy / Building Champions perspective?
Yeah. So life planning. I'm going to explain to you what it's not, because I think that helps. It's not goal setting. A lot of people get confused and they think, oh, you know what, it's just setting goals for the year and doing it maybe in a more elaborate way. It's not. Really what it's about is identifying the areas of your life where you play a unique role. You're a steward of each of these areas of your life, and you have the responsibility and the opportunity to care for them and to add maximum value to each and every one of them. I like to call them accounts, and it's just helped me. Each of these different accounts in my life, I'm either adding value to and increasing my net worth in, or I'm neglecting them or giving them my leftovers. And then over time, I will be making withdrawals from them. Neglect will create atrophy. And as you just said, Dave, I think you build a really good case for why people should life plan, because just about anybody on this webinar with us, they're success-motivated people. Nobody's going to join us at the end of the year between Christmas and New Year's for a webinar if they're not really excited about their business or making more money. And the problem is that without boundaries, what we'll do is we'll put all of our energy and all of our effort into planning our business success so that we can accumulate more money, so that we can climb in the corporate game and reach new levels of success, because it feeds us. It feeds ego. It gives us some nice material comforts. And oftentimes, and I've seen this for many years, I've been coaching leaders now for a few decades, what will happen is we put so much energy into those two accounts, being our professional account and our financial account, that we don't have time to adequately care for the other accounts in our life until they're broken. And I'm talking about your health account. I'm talking about your marriage account, your parenting account. I'm talking about your sanity and fun or self-development accounts. What will happen is those accounts will break, and when they break, they will have a direct impact on your business account, your professional account, and sometimes your financial account. So I say let's get ahead of it. Let's get in front of it, and let's be proactive and intentional each and every day so that we're growing net worth and success in all areas of our life. It doesn't need to be an either-or proposition. It can be both and all and, but we just need to take the time to get clear on what areas of our life are most important and then how we're going to go about increasing net worth. We have to make decisions, and then we have to manage those decisions daily in order for us to have increasing balances in all the areas of our life that we believe are important for us. And that's the beauty of life planning. Dave Savage's plan is going to be a little different than Daniel Harkavy's, but it's Dave Savage's plan, and it's perfect for him. And the beauty of it is if there's an area of it that's not perfect, then you adjust it, and you You edit it and change your strategy. But I'll tell you what, by being on the front side of it and intentional, I'm telling you that you can have a much more successful 2015 as a result of investing the time in life planning in comparison to being reactive and just showing up day in and day out and responding to whatever crises and opportunities cross your path.
Fantastic. So, we've had, and it looks like just looking at the numbers who's attending this, it's going to be over 200 people on today's call. And, typically, Josh's call has been viewed over 700 times, but I'll bet at least 50 times this next call will be watched. And then also something to think about, a lot of the folks that are on these calls, they're managers. Cindy Ertman is on this call often, and, she's leading north of 100 loan officers. So that, today's call, Daniel, is impacting, well north of 1,000 mortgage professionals. So the who is life planning. There's a lot of ways we could take this answer. I want to start it with, in your opinion, it seems so obvious, but who is life planning in the mortgage space today, and who's not, and what can we do to get everybody, get the thousands of loan officers that are being impacted by this call to be life planning?
So, just about everybody you've mentioned who are mortgage professionals are life planners. You just mentioned Cindy Ertman. Sweetheart, awesome client of ours for years, and she's a life planner. And, the best of the best, and not all of them, but many of them, and I would say the greater percentage of them, whether they're CEOs or whether they're originators, they're smart people, and they're taking the time to put plans together for their lives because they believe that life is but a vapor. It's cruising by fast. And they've seen the casualties in the train wrecks. So, your top-performing loan officers, people that are users of your product, people that you have, like Josh Metal. Josh Metal, he was just with me and a group of my coaches about 4 weeks ago, down in Santa Barbara for our Master's Coach program, and spent an entire day working on his life plan again. And he was there with probably 40 or 50 other mortgage professionals that were doing that all again, and they do it every single December with us in our Master's Coach program. And there were a couple hundred folks with us in September working on their life plans out in Sun River at the Experience. Every year,
I was at the Experience, and it was amazing. Yeah. Definitely not just in the mortgage industry. That is a pinnacle life planning event, in America. So congratulations. Thanks. How many years have you been doing that now?
We started it in 2008. So, yeah, it seems like yesterday, but.
So folks, I am going to do a little push for that event. I've been to it 3 times, and the venue is amazing. I just cannot think of a better place in America to spend a couple days and do life planning. So the venue is really special. Daniel and his team do just a fantastic job of what I would call, it's not this seminar where you just come in and you walk out with more ideas. It's like a fire hose. It's just an intentional time and an amazing venue where they're driving you through, whether you're reviewing your life plan or whether you're creating your life plan. They're taking you through an experience that you come home from, and you are more prepared to be a life planner. So for anybody who's not taken a good look at the Experience, make sure you go to Daniel's website, really take a good look at it, make a careful decision whether you go this next year. It's an amazing event.
I appreciate that. Just an addition to that for people who've never been, we start off with life planning, but then we move right into business vision. We move into business planning, priority management. We've got workshops on many different business topics as well as life topics. So it's a pretty cool, well-rounded experience. Love to have some of you with us. But thanks for mentioning it, Dave.
Well, no problem. It's been a valuable experience for me. And to the point you just said, they do breakouts. So while there's big sessions, there's breakouts, and one of the ones that I went to this last year was on accountability. So how do we drive more accountability with our teams? Let's face it, that's such a challenge, but such a difference between the optimal success and not optimal success. So before we get into your life planning tool, which I want to get to within a couple minutes here, I do want to talk about, I do believe when I talk to top producers, and what I have been doing now for over 5 years, 7 years, I've been interviewing the best of the best. And I am going to talk about Josh Metal a little bit because he's a mutual customer of ours. And by the way, if you didn't know it, Daniel, Coach Bill Hart was a key accountability coach to getting Josh to adopt and create the mortgage coach habit. So this is a big win for both of us, because Josh's success is so amazing. But when I interview people like Josh, it's pretty rare that they are not life planners. Yeah. But when I interview folks that, are struggling, they're closing less than 5 loans on a consistent basis. And let's face it, the industry is, 70% of folks out there are not consistently closing 5 loans. They're not like, and I ask them, are you life planning? I either hear no, or I hear, yeah, I did it, and I hear, a lot of buts in the conversation. So, there are a lot of folks on the call that, this is a year where we want to turn into a better year. Do you have any counsel or advice for folks that are, consistently closing less than 5 loans a month? Because, by the way, if you're closing more than 5 loans a month, hey, you know what? That's a sustainable career in the mortgage industry. Pat yourself on the back. Whether you go from 5 loans a month to 20 loans a month, that's about your X factor and your ambition, and that's up to you. Whether you want to take it to another level. But if you're closing less than 5 and you're not life planning, I don't know, Daniel, what counsel and advice do you provide to help people kind of make 2015 a year where they start life planning?
Well, I just think there's enough anecdotal data, there's enough evidence out there from the best of the best that would cause anybody who is not where they would want to be on the business side to take a good look at their strategies. And as you said, Dave, so many of them are life planners. And I guess this is what you would need to understand. There's brain science behind how top performers do what they do and how they think. And what happens is the brain science shows that the best of the best, they focus on what's most important. And they have it laid out so clearly that they can see it. All right? Your vision, your business vision, your life plan, your business plan. If you can see what is truly most important to you in life, in the immediate, and over the long haul from a business perspective, and you review those regularly, then what you're doing is you're forcing all of that good stuff into your brain, and you're focusing on that, which then eliminates all the noise and the hope and the random strategies that pop in because you don't have an intentional plan. And that's where you start chasing rabbits. You're chasing all of these different wishful strategies, hoping for a better outcome. And then if you have the discipline to review these plans daily, you're forcing yourself to look at them day in and day out, you'll start to see your behaviors change, you'll see your attitude change, then you'll see your results change. Now, there's probably a few different groups of people on the call who are maybe doing less than 5 loans a month. They're folks that are new. They've been in the business for a year or so or less. And I would just tell you, don't waste time. Spend the day, put together the life plan, put together your business vision, put together your business plan, and use these things as roadmaps that will direct how you do what you do each and every day. And then there's folks who have been in the business longer than a year, and maybe some of you folks have been in the business longer than 5 or 10 years, and you're doing less than 5 loans a month. And that's frustrating and scary, and it leads to self-doubt and a whole bunch of negative talk and uncertainty. And I'll just tell you that today is truly a new day. And I'm not giving you some rah-rah inspirational hope. It's been proven. If you can just write down what it is that you want and then commit to reviewing it every single morning, you're going to have a better year the year ahead than you would by listening to the noise that you've been listening to for the last 6 to 12 months or maybe longer. But you've got to make the decision to do it. And then you have to make the decision to review it every single morning. And I know it seems difficult, and a lot of people will fall off the daily review wagon. But it's just a decision you make, and you say, I'm going to be intentional with how I go through life. Now, Dave, I'm just going to keep rolling on this for a minute because there's some folks on the call, and they hear this, and what they're saying is, Savage and Harkavy, you're taking all the spontaneity out of life. You guys must live like robots, and you're almost militant with how you go through life, and where's the fun? The truth of the matter is, what we're doing is we're only identifying the areas of our life that are truly most important and making sure we're not blowing it there, and that we're adding maximum value. And I'll tell you that we're leaving all sorts of time and room for spontaneity. But the beautiful thing is, by being intentional with how you date your wife or your husband, by being intentional with how you cook with your kids, or how you have breakfast donut dates with them every Saturday morning, or by how you work out with them, or snowboard, or do model projects, or play chess with them, or whatever the heck it is, with that regularity, you make those commitments. By doing that, what you'll see is much more fulfillment in all those areas of your life. And here's the thing that you got to get. When you're switched on and you're doing really well in your marriage and in your health and in your parenting and in your spiritual walk and in your fun account, and when you're doing really well in all of those accounts, you bring a better version of you to your clients. You got more peace, you got more joy, you got more happiness, you've got more contentment because you're doing what you need to be doing. And people like being around you more than they do when you're fearful and hoping that you can get one more loan because you got to make next month's mortgage. So I'm telling you, if you'll just follow the plan, it doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen month by month, quarter by quarter. You will start to see improvement. And you've got to look at this business with a longer-term perspective. And you've got to have a strategy, not just a hopeful, responsive, kind of wishful, I'll react to whatever comes my way. So I absolutely believe for those who are doing less than 5 that this can be a total game changer.
So let's do this. I mean, we talked about Josh. Josh is a great mutual customer of ours. He's been a longtime customer of yours, and Josh has just created the Mortgage Coach Habit this year. If you haven't watched the coaching call that Josh and I did on December 2nd, just can't emphasize enough what a valuable mortgage coach training that is. Do want to remind everybody to make sure you have downloaded the Building Champions tool. Click on the resource page, then tools, fill out your information. You'll notice that there's a business planning tool and a life planning tool. So you can see that on the screen right now where I'm walking you through that. Make sure you've downloaded both of those and filled those out because, as Daniel has said, I don't want to overly simplify this. It's taking the time to actually do it. So, access that tool now. We're going to review Daniel's life planning tool that Building Champion has evolved over the course of, is it 16 or 17 years now that you've been the founder and CEO of Building Champions?
We're coming up on 18.
Whoa. So 18 years Daniel has been bringing Building Champions to life, and he's been a life planner for many more years than that himself. So Daniel, on the screen right now, I've got a visual of the life planning document. I'm focusing it on the top part. I mean, let's just walk people through this so that everybody has a homework assignment. They're gonna take no less than 2. And I don't want to say, hey, if you want to take 2 days, however many days it takes you to think about and work on your life plan. But the Mortgage Coach homework assignment is to fill this out, and then hopefully it's to review it day after day after day and drive everything. So Daniel, would you mind walking us through this? We're on number 1 right now.
You bet. So the first thing that you guys are all going to do is you're going to write out your eulogy or your epitaph. And there's a reason for this. Don't shortcut this step. The life plan, in order for it to have the pull power that it needs to have, in order for it to get you to follow through with some of the disciplines, it needs to be an all-in document, not just a cerebral document, head and heart required. So if you were to die today, what would be said about you and by whom? And the reason I want you to start the process off that way is because I want you to understand that there is no guarantee of tomorrow. Life is but a vapor. There's some really cool Hebrew scriptures that I'll always quote when I'm talking about life planning and the eulogy, and one of them is from the Psalms. And the psalmist is saying, "So teach us to number our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom." The fool, all right, that's the psalm, but the fool lives like there's always tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to my health tomorrow. I'll get to my marriage tomorrow. I'll get to my, my kids tomorrow when I'm less busy. I just need to get through this month. And what the psalmist was saying, no, teach me to number my days so that I may gain a heart of wisdom, not the head. Our heads are easily deceived. We've got all this information in our heads about how we can have better, more successful businesses and lives, but we don't follow through on it. And it's because we don't have a belief deep in our heart that provides the fuel to follow through. So by starting out with your eulogy, you're addressing a very real dynamic in life, and that is that we're all dying. There's no guarantee of tomorrow. So you've got to tap into that. And I would say really write it out. And our clients that have gone through this and written out their eulogy in its entirety, and they've done it all. I mean, they've really put their heart into it. It engages them with this process and then helps them to really improve the use of the life planning tool in their daily decisions in the future. So you don't want to miss this. That's step number one, write out your eulogy. Step number two. Dave, do you want to just walk through the tool? Dave?
Hey, Daniel, sorry about that. I had it on mute. So what I was saying was I put it on number 2, and I'll jump in if I have anything to add. But continue.
Okay, cool. So number 2 is to identify your accounts. And when I first put my life plan together, I just got a yellow pad of paper, and I wrote down on the top sheet of the paper the heading or the account, and that was it. So I wrote down marriage account, which was Sherry. I wrote down my health account, my family account, then accounts. You would write down accounts for each of your kids. You identify all the areas of your life, the accounts in your life where you play this unique stewardship role, as I mentioned earlier, and you want to be intentional with how you add value to each and every one of those accounts. So you list out those accounts. All right? Step number 3. What you want to do is you want to cast a vision for each and every one of these accounts. Is 3 on that tool, Dave? Does it show vision or purpose?
It's vision, and purpose is number 4.
Good. All right, cool. So, yeah, you've got your vision. And the vision for the account is at some point in the future, what would you love to see in this account? So for me, let's just use my marriage account. We'll use Sherry as an example. So I've got Sherry at the top. Vision for us is at the age 75, we are truly each other's best friends. There's nobody we would rather spend time with. We still enjoy intimacy, and we look back on our lives and are incredibly grateful as a result of the gift of marriage and how we've used it to impact many other people's lives. All right. There's a vision for us at the age 75. It's 25 years from now. You've got to write something down that has pull power for you. It's got to be something that you're worth sacrificing. It's worth sacrificing for. So what is it that you'd like to see in each of these accounts 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now that you say, you know what, that's the target. That's where I want to wind up. Now, there's no guarantees you're going to wind up there. And I know some of you are thinking that right now. I cannot control how she responds to my vision nor to my actions, but what I can control is my thinking. I can control my actions and my disciplines. So I write down a vision for me, for our marriage, that is going to pull me forward. The next step in the life planning process is to identify purpose. And what's my purpose in this account? Well, my purpose is, in the marriage account, is to lift Sherry up so that she can be the woman that she was created to be. It's to help her to become more of who she's to be and to never be the one that causes her to be less of who she's to be. So my purpose is to lift her up. My purpose for our marriage is oneness. So what in a sentence or two helps you to really understand the role you play, the purpose that you play in that account? So you've got your eulogy done, you've got your account identified, a vision for the account, your purpose for the account. The next step are a few actions What actions are you going to repeat on a day in and day out basis? These actions or disciplines are things you're going to repeat. So it's Monday lunch dates from 12 to 2. It's 30 minutes of eye-to-eye, ear-to-ear connection time at the end of each and every day. Pray together before you go to bed. Walks together on Saturday mornings and on Wednesday mornings. It's quarterly getaways, adventure romantic retreats. It's weekly romantic date nights. What are the actions that you're going to commit to, and then you're going to commit them to a specific date and time? So it's Monday, 12 to 2. The date night's Friday from 5:30 on, and you're going to get the babysitter. What are the things that you have the ability to follow through on? And by doing that, you'll increase net worth in each one of those accounts. Now, some of you might be saying, well, how do you live that all the time? You don't. But you strive to. And by being clear on it and making the decision to do it, you'll find yourself following through. And then if there's something that pops up, such as a business trip, or somebody's sick, or there was a crisis at work, or something pops up, then what you do is you reschedule the discipline. You just don't ignore it and allow it to be something that 2 years ago you thought was a good idea, but you know what? You didn't follow through on it. So there's a few actions, a few non-negotiable disciplines that you put into this step of the life plan. What you've got now is you've got a very complete life plan. You've got one account done. You're going to replicate that for all the areas of your life, each account. Once that's done, your life plan's done. And you then begin scheduling those actions or those disciplines into your ideal week. And you start sharing those with your team or your clients so that everybody knows this is how you're going to bring the best version of you to the workplace. Does that all make sense, Dave?
It makes perfect sense. So it's simple. I don't know if it's easy. And let's face it, things that are simple and easy are to do or easy not to do. I have a few mortgage coach homework assignments for folks, but any wisdom you can share in terms of how much time should folks take, and any feedback you can give just to increase the chances that the mortgage coach team will take action on this and actually take the time to write it down and do it.
Yeah. So I think you may know this. I wrote a book on life planning. Michael Hyatt and I co-authored it, and we just signed the book deal. It'll come out in 2016. The publishing gig takes way too long, but it'll be out at the beginning of 16. And I wanted to call the book One Day. And the reason I wanted to call it One Day is because if you read the book and invest one day into this process, it can change your life. So I'm telling you, I know, Dave, you're going to ask them to take 2 to 4 hours, but I'm going to say this is the plan for your life. Go somewhere special and take a full day and shut down the shiny objects. Don't bring anything else to do. Take a day, write out your eulogy, and put together a kick-butt life plan. If you'll do that, I guarantee you it will just be it will be more special for you, and it will have more pull power for you. I've been at it for decades now, and I was just telling Dave prior to the call, this Friday, Sherry and I, my wife and I, will be splitting Friday evening, and Saturday will be our life planning review day for next year, where we're going to be spending the day going through our own life plans, reflecting on the year, journaling the lessons, and putting together plans for 15. And, come back into the new year when we go back to our regular schedules, which will be a week from, it'll be next Monday, we'll have that done. Take the day, go somewhere special, and do it. Another thing for you to increase the odds of you really using this is to commit to morning reviews every single day for 90 days. If you can commit to spending 5 minutes just to reading your life plan once it's done, first thing in the morning for 90 days, you'll get it to a point to where you know it. Then after 90 days, just make a commitment to review it every single week from there on after. Sundays or Mondays are great times for you to read it. Some people like doing it Friday or Saturday. I don't care. just the discipline of regular review to assess how you did and to make sure that you're putting the big things into the plan for next week, into the calendar for next week, will be very, very helpful. And then maybe some of you have tried the life plan before and you've built it, but it just didn't have any stickiness to it. It just didn't work for you. Maybe you didn't follow through with the daily reviews, or maybe you look at it and it just doesn't inspire you. Well, then I would encourage you to go at it again, fresh. Don't use your old one. And make sure that the vision accounts for each and every one of for each and every one of your accounts is really compelling, and that your purpose is clear. If you don't have a vision that creates a gap between your current reality and what could be, then you're not playing big enough. And I think as we get older, we need to be taking more risks. We need to be thinking even bigger, and that we can accomplish more and add even more value than the world wants to tell us. And I think for every one of you on the Mortgage Coach team, why not you? Why should you guys not have the most amazing marriages and be in the best health and be adding maximum value to each and every one of your kids? Be completely switched on and present when you're at work. Be leading the best teams. Be that guy or that gal that everybody wants to do business with, not just because you're amazing in your knowledge and competency in mortgage banking, but just because of that coupled with your personhood and how you're doing business and life is really attractive to others, and they want to be around you. Why not you? And if you'll invest the day and then review first thing in the morning, you're going to increase the odds of you being that guy or that gal. So don't allow the voices to get in your way and say, you know what, I don't need it. It's crap. I've tried it before. It doesn't work. Or I've already arrived. Or, man, Daniel, if you only knew, man, I've taken significant hits in the last couple of years. I can't put it back together. I'm just challenging, man. Today, it's a new day, and you have the ability to change your thinking, which impacts your beliefs, which impacts your emotions and your attitudes, and then all of that put together impacts how you do what you do day in and day out, and ultimately the results you get. So this will help you to improve your thinking because it's your plan, you've created, you've invested in, and you've made it compelling. And you're going to fight like heck to make those decisions and then manage those decisions day in and day out. And if a strategy's not working 2, 3, 4 months from now, adjust it. No harm. All of us do it. All right, Dave, I hope that helps.
That was a great push. I actually, one of our members just made a post that he just finished the life planning, and he subscribes to Michael Hyatt, so it's life planning process. I think Michael you used to coach him, or you coach him, and you guys are writing a book together?
Yeah, so Michael was a client of ours more than a decade ago, and his life planning tool is just a bigger version of our life planning tool. And Michael and I just finished a life planning book. We just are putting our deal together with our publisher, and yeah, it'll be out first quarter of 16.
Well, congrats on that. And again, you are my life planning guru and mentor.
Thanks.
So I am going to stop saying 2 and 4 hours. And everybody, you heard it. It's a full day. For all of you Mortgage Coach members, I want to remind you our commitment to training and to delivering sales leadership on Tuesday, technical training on Thursdays, and beginners training on Fridays. We're here for you. I am mixing things up, and I'm going to be relaunching some new thoughts. This Tuesday call will no longer be called the coaching call. When I was doing some business planning, I just started thinking about what we do every Tuesday. And first of all, it isn't coaching. It's not. There's no accountability to it. Daniel's coaching. Building Champions is the coach. We are training you, and really the Tuesday call is about sales. So we're having an internal debate right now, and I just launched a poll as to whether to call it the Mortgage Coach Weekly and then ... sales meeting or sales rally. I can make a case for both, but we're going to change the name to our Tuesday call to being either the Mortgage Coach Sales Meeting or the Mortgage Coach Sales Rally. And right now, everybody on this call, you get a chance to vote and help us decide which way we're going to roll on that. By the way, Daniel, what would be your vote as we change the name of our Tuesday call? Sales meeting or sales rally?
Sales meeting.
All right. So we got Daniel, and by the way, I could have guessed Daniel because it's the more practical and descriptive term, and that's you, man.
Well, I tell you what, man, I'm predictable. But I think what you're doing, Dave, is awesome. And I'm not saying this just to puff you up. As I'm sitting here, and you've been at the Mortgage Coach for a good long time, at the beginning of the call, I was thinking, Savage, you're a rock star, dude. Every single week you're doing this, and you've been doing it for a good long time, and you're so committed to your clientele, and you see adding value to them this way as being one of your truest and highest payoff activities. It's inspiring for me. So I commend you for your commitment to all of those that are your clients. I know they're all grateful, and dude, I'm grateful for the opportunity to partner with you and be on with everybody.
Well, appreciate that. By the way, I just shared the results, and Sales Rally did get a few more votes. I can make a great case for either one. The thing I like about Sales Rally is that I feel that these Tuesday calls need to be a combination of inspiration and ideas, and Sales Rally just comes with, it raises the bar to make whatever we do on Tuesdays both inspirational and actionable. But Danielle, thank you for those nice words. No doubt my role at Mortgage Coach, I do feel providing fresh, in the trenches ideas and inspiration to loan officers that want to be a mortgage coach is just a cornerstone to what we do. While technology is how we deliver value, if you don't use our technology with passion and just make a habit out of it, you don't get the same type of value out of it. So another thing I want to push to everybody as we close out today's call, I recorded a call with just an amazing mortgage coach leader, Tom Toz. I can't never pronounce his name, but this guy is an animal. I mean, he's a non-producing manager now. His branch does over 800 units a month, 800 units a year. And we did a talk around why, from a branch manager's perspective, the January and February are so important for you to really build that habit within your team. So I want to close out some thoughts around that. And it really comes down to this. 2015 represents a really interesting opportunity in our space in the fact that there's going to be the new integrated disclosures come out. And by every top leader in operations I've spoken to is saying this is the biggest, it's going to change workflow and change how we deliver both the point of sale experience in the mortgage industry, and it's going to change how we sync that up in closing more than any change we've ever had. So, my message to Mortgage Coach members and everybody on this call is, do you want to wait a few months before August 1st in the middle of the home buying season to make your changes, or do you want to make those changes in January and February? And I propose it's an opportunity to do it in February. So as you do your life plan, and when you get to the part around business planning, I think what my leadership is, make sure changing your workflow to be compliant with the new guidelines should be at the top of the list. And so, just for anybody that hasn't heard my message on this, I do it in more detail with Tom, so watch that video. And Daniel, I don't know how much you know about it, but are you aware that the new GFE, they're making it a requirement for loan officers to show the total cost of a loan over 5 years?
No.
Has that made it to your radar yet?
No.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. Right now when you look at how loan officers quote rates, they just quote payment and closing costs. Well, it's going to be a requirement to say, here is the cost of the loan over 5 years. And it's a big number, I mean, it's not a monthly payment. It's a monthly payment times 5. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm a particular fan of that at Mortgage Coach because it's going to require loan officers to start being not just rate quoters and selling money. It's going to require loan officers to be educators, to really, have an educational experience versus a rate quote shout out. So it aligns closely, Mortgage Coach has had that in our product forever. I mean, we've had lots of people ask us, hey, would you remove the cost of loan over 5 years from Mortgage Coach because, it's just more information. And by the way, this is like a religious issue at Mortgage Coach, where we have always said we would sell more Mortgage Coach, people would use it more if we took that element out of the product, and we allowed you to quote a rate and not show the cost for 5 years. But for 15 years, we've made that a requirement. And so to me, the push when you're doing your life planning or business planning is to make this an improvement. You know, my ask to everybody on this call is start delivering the cost alone over 5 years in January and February. Let's not wait until the CFPB mandates it and requires you to do it, and it's the middle of the home buying season and you're busy. Let's do it in January and February. Does that make sense to everybody? And Daniel, if you want me to do any type of training with your team around this earlier in the year so that you can be more proactive to your members or to the customers and clients, let me know. I've got a 15-minute message around this. You know,
Great.
I'll forward you the video so you can share
That'd be great. Please do.
All right. So again, some last Mortgage Coach follow-ups, and then let's wrap it up around a push for life planning. Make sure you've downloaded the Mortgage Coach Rate Watch app. All you managers on the call, if you have not already got your team to do it, make sure you do it. Number 2, let's drive everybody through the Josh Metal coaching call on how to go from price to advice. What's so important about that call is not just that it's a great inspirational call. There's a lot of scripts, you know, what to say to your realtor so that they appreciate you as a mortgage coach, what to say to your buyer so that they appreciate you as a mortgage coach. So I'm showing you on the screen right now. You can just go to our website, click on support, and type in Josh Metal, and it'll take you to that homework assignment. So I've just shown everybody how to get to that homework assignment and follow through on what I just shared with you guys. So hopefully everybody will follow up on that. If you would like to schedule a Mortgage Coach training with your branch, email success@mortgagecoach.com. So if you're an enterprise customer of ours and you want us to do some training for your branch, send us an email with some dates, and we'll get you on the calendar to deliver additional training and support to everybody. So Daniel, I'm going to wrap up today's call. Do want to do a shout out to Annie, who's going to be my guest next Tuesday at 9. She is a leader. She is a consultant, does a lot of keynote speaking for corporate America around what she calls, she's what is called a generational guru. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but we're going to find out next Tuesday. I do know what we're going to get out of that call is we're going to get a lot of takeaways on the different folks that we serve, from millennials to boomers to Gen X, and we're going to kick off the year with a lot of intentionality at being able to, one, identify, you know, who we're talking to, and to be able to deliver advice and connect with them in a way that's relevant. So it's going to make us better marketers and better salespeople. So don't miss that call. So Daniel, if folks want to, you know, connect with you, what's your contact information? And then let's wrap up the call with some parting wisdom and words to drive action.
Cool. So Daniel.Harkavy at buildingchampions.com. And Harkavy is H-A-R-K-A, V as in Victor Y. And office number is 503-670-1013. Our offices are closed all week. We'll be opened again Monday. I am unplugged, so won't be responding until I get back. But that is the best way to connect with us. Our website's buildingchampions.com. And I would just say to everybody, man, what we've talked about, whether you have never done a life plan, whether you've done a life plan and it just hasn't had the punch, or whether you're seasoned at it, the discipline of taking a day, stepping back and gaining perspective on your life, where you're at, and then making decisions so you can be more intentional, more proactive with how you invest yourself in all the areas of your life that are truly most important. I guarantee it, if you'll take that day and go through the process, that you will walk into the days that follow with more confidence and more clarity. And over time, you will just live a much more switched-on, purposeful life as a result of making the investment of time. So Savage, thanks for being committed to to not just your clients' business success, but to their lives overall. It's commendable, and I'm grateful for you, and thanks for having me on.
Well, I appreciate you taking time during the holiday to help the Mortgage Coach family close the year strong and prepare to have just the best 2015 ever. As you leave today's call, please give us a vote. Let us know what you thought of today's call from a good to great perspective. If you're a guest on this call and you want to learn more about Mortgage Coach, there's a button for you to click. So I'm going to give you guys about 15 seconds to fill out that survey. Have a fantastic New Year's. Live it intentionally. And you heard it from Daniel. Take a full day for life planning. And if you're going to make one commitment, make that commitment to review your plan every morning. Have a wonderful